Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Levi with your show, The Dr. Levi Show. Happy to have you with us today. Today is May 31st, 2017. Beautiful, beautiful, amazing day here in Los Angeles. So I hope wherever you are, you're making today an amazing day. Of course, everybody's coming back from the Memorial Day weekend, long holiday. It was great. I actually worked. That's kind of like my modus operandi, I guess, is work is just in my DNA. So I worked most of that, but got a lot of other interesting projects done. So it was a great holiday weekend for myself. So I hope yours was also productive. Memorial Day is really interesting because I feel it gives us an opportunity to really go to that place of being thankful for the women and men who gave their lives for this country. We have our sustained freedoms for their sacrifice. Think about it. They sacrificed their minds, their bodies, their limbs, their families because they wanted us to have a better future. So Memorial Day is a day of not simply, for me anyway, personally, of just the picnics and the barbecues and no, it's actually much deeper than that. And I think we have to always reflect on the beauty and the power of what that day really means. Because I think that can resonate on a really high spiritual vibrational level for most of us, if you really think about it. What that means, Memorial Day, a day of memorial, a day of really remembering people that have given the ultimate, their lives, for our sustained freedom. So, again, I'm a big supporter of the veterans. I'm a big supporter of those men and women who have done and continue to do so much in service for our country and for us. So, to the veterans out there and to all those who are in active service today, I have two words for you. Thank you. I really mean that. So, we have a great show for you today. And we're going to talk about some medical issues. Recently I was asked by someone to talk about gastric issues. We were talking, and there's a really good friend of mine. And she said, there are times when I go through these bouts of gas or diarrhea or constipation or even just gastric upper extremity, not upper extremity, but upper GI pain. And we were talking about it, and she said, well, it happens, episodically, but she said over the past like 5 to 7 months, she's found this has been intensifying. So I asked her, I said, well, is it worse during the morning or the afternoon? And she was quite clear that just it comes and goes. And it may be associated with stress, possibly with diet. So I want to give you all today just sort of like a open index of different things to ask your doctor about if you're having upper gastric intestinal pain. So many times this can be associated with the following: gastroesophageal reflux disease, commonly called GERD. Sometimes we'll call it heartburn, but it's a different form of heartburn, as well as ulcerative colitis, diverticulitis, as well as irritable bowel syndrome, as well as possibility that you could be allergic to something that you're eating, like gluten or dairy or hazelnuts or strawberries or blueberries or peanuts or cashews or almonds, walnuts. I mean, there's a wide variety. The spectrum is really unlimited about issues that someone can be allergic to. So those are things to think about. So I remind you to do the following. Number one, to keep a journal of what you're eating and what you've been eating over like a 2 or 3 week period. Number two, to mark in your diary when you're not feeling well, when you have increased bouts of constipation, diarrhea, or gas, or overall feeling of not feeling good, or maybe just pain in your abdomen, pain. Write down everything, and then go to your doctor. Let him or her know what you're experiencing, so they can come up with a plan, which may start off with an X-ray, with a CT scan, with an MRI, with an upper GI, with a colonoscopy, a sigmoidoscopy. In medicine we have so many tests, so many things we can do for someone to find out what's going on in your body. The body is not the tremendous mystery it was, 20, 30, or 100 plus years ago. We have a lot of insights now with modern technologies. So I want you to think about that. So if you're having upper GI issues, if you're having bouts of, again, GI problems, don't suffer in silence. Don't do that. Talk to your doctors and let them know what you're experiencing. Why? So you can get better. We want you to live a life that is healthy, that is happy, that is prosperous, that is wonderful. Why? Because you deserve that. You really do. So I feel good today. I want you to feel even better. Remember, be mindful of your choices. Stay well hydrated during the day. When it comes to fitness, remember, fitness is a lifestyle. And to be fit, you need the following: commitment, consistency, diet, exercise, rest, recovery, and of course, I think there should be an aspect of meditation and or mindfulness or stillness where you just go to that place of really being grateful for your body, grateful for your health, grateful to live a life of passion, grateful to live a life of service, grateful simply to be alive and to know that you don't need validation from anybody else, that you're perfect just the way you are. Period. The universe makes no mistakes. There has to be a reason why on the planet there's only one of each of us. They're not, unless you have a twin or a triplet or, other than that, there's only one of you. And I think that's the beauty of knowing that you're special just the way you are. You're absolutely special, amazing, phenomenal, magnanimous, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all that stuff. So I want you to feel good about you. Now, let's talk about our guest today. When it comes to super dynamic individuals who are on the way to making a difference in humanity and reminding people to be mindful and reminding people to love and respect children and to protect children and, more importantly, to listen to them. If a child speaks, we should listen. So often, many adults, I remember as a kid, I'm still a big kid now, actually, at 35 plus. But I remember as a kid, going into a room and talking to like my uncles or my aunts, and I can clearly to this day hear them saying, Levi, get out of here. This is grown folks' business. Levi, get out of here. We're not talking to children right now. And I remember thinking to myself, even as a child, I remember thinking, I might give them more information than they have. I remember thinking that, and I think children can remind us to not take life so seriously. I think children can remind us to really go to that place of loving your whole experience, the good as well as the challenges. I think children remind us that there's such purity of life and that they're here to remind us to be better people. They're here to remind us to be more open-hearted, not just open-minded, but open-hearted. So with that said, I want to talk to our guest today. His name is Mr. Alonzo Cannon, and he's the author of this beautifully illustrated book entitled, That Medicine I Will Not Take. There was a part of me that wanted to say, that medicine I will not take, damn it. I really wanted to say that. And there was another part, I got to tell you something, as I was reading it, I wanted to say this, that medicine I will not take, bitches! I swear, that's what I was thinking.
That'll be my follow-up.
That'll be the follow-up?
Follow-up, but
right?
I got it.
We can say bitches up, biatches! Well, I want to say, I'm really happy that he's here to share this book with us. Again, it's titled, That Medicine I Will Not Take. Period. That's it. Written by Alonzo Cannon, and it's beautifully illustrated by Missy J. She's an extraordinarily gifted illustrator. If you really want someone to do some great work for you, get in contact with Missy J. Just beautifully talented, spirited woman. So thank you for being here, Alonzo.
I appreciate the opportunity. This is great. Thank you so
really
much.
Wonderful.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's talk about you now. Where are you from, and how long have you been in Los Angeles?
I'm from a little town called Tecumseh, Oklahoma.
Yes.
I have been in Los Angeles. Well, I was born in. Actually, I'm a true to God Okie from Muskogee is where I was born, and then we moved to Tecumseh when I was in kindergarten.
Yes.
And went throughout the whole public system, school system there.
Yes.
Went to the University of Oklahoma, graduated in 1990.
Right.
And,
now, what did you study in school? You studied like exercise
science. Yeah,
exercise
science. Yes,
fantastic.
and I was fortunate enough to do my internship in Chicago with Michael Jordan and his personal trainer Tim Grover.
Yes.
So I did that for 2 summers.
So did you work at Grover's camp, because he had a studio there? Michael Jordan had his own place there.
Yeah, it was actually before that. You know, he worked out at a sports club, the sports Sporting Club Chicago.
Yes, yes.
And so I was actually doing the internship there, and this is a fun little story.
Yes.
So I was doing the internship there. I'd never been to a big city like that before in my life,
right?
Let alone by myself.
And Chicago's a big city.
Oh yeah,
yes,
I cried from the time I left home,
right,
all the way to the flight for 2 solid weeks. I was so homesick. I wanted to go back home.
Yes.
And then Nike was throwing Michael. So the internship was at the club, at
yes.
the sporting club. And so Nike was throwing Michael a party for being the most valuable player of the league that year.
Yes.
They were in the middle of their first championship series with the Lakers.
Yes.
And so it was after game
one.
Go
Lakers.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was after game one, and it was thrown on the rooftop of the club. Now, to get there, to get into the party, you had to be like top notch within the organization
right.
of the club.
You had to be on the list.
Right, exactly. And I was just this intern. And so before that, the person who was organizing the party had pulled me aside like earlier that afternoon and wanted to know some directions. And I had no idea because I was just brand new there.
Right.
And I said, I'm from Oklahoma. I have no idea. And she goes, oh, I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Really?
And we kind of connected, and she goes, would you like to be my guest?
It was the
only way I got up into this party.
Wow.
So I get up to this party, and I'm standing by my boss, and it's models and
big
movie
wigs.
stars, the whole thing, right? My eyes were this big, my mouth was down.
Right.
And Michael comes up, and my boss says, hey, you should go over there and say hello to Michael.
Right.
I was like, no, there's no way. And he finally talked me into it. I was like, but I don't know what I'm going to say. And he says, so I said, I'm going to say, it's really nice to meet you.
Right.
So I'm like weaving through all these big wigs. Right. I finally get up to him. I stick my hand out and I said, it's really nice to meet you. And I turn around to walk away, and he kept holding my hand. And he pulled me back. And he says, what's your name?
Right.
I said, my name's Alonzo. And we just started having this conversation, right? So then he ends up saying, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, well, one thing that I want to be is a personal fitness trainer.
Right.
And he says, do you think it would help you out if you hung out with me and my personal trainer for the summer?
Just like that.
And I was like, yeah. And he says,
right.
well, listen, anytime I come in here to work out, you're with me. And if your boss has a problem with that, you let me know.
Just like that. Oh, wow, man. That's amazing.
Yeah. So then
it shows you when things are lining up for you, you don't have to do much but show up.
Yeah.
If you show up and make that effort, everything opens up for you. That's amazing.
No, it was absolutely amazing. I didn't cry a lick after that. I was happy
to
be in Chicago. I was happy to be in
Chicago.
Man. It was a great experience. I did that for 2 summers.
Yes.
And then I got a job where I actually wanted to transition from I didn't want to train athletes. I wanted to train entertainers. And long story short, I end up taking this job where I was a communications liaison between this company called Entertainment Marketing and Anheuser-Busch.
Yes.
And they had this division where they sponsor certain music acts who are on
they
tour.
Have tours. They have tours that they sponsor.
Exactly.
Anheuser-Busch.
Right. Budweiser's a Superfest or Bud Light Presents or Budweiser Presents or something like that.
Right.
And I was the communications liaison between the tour and the people back in St. Louis.
That's pretty big now because they've had a lot of big tours like Mary J. Blige.
Oh, absolutely. Actually,
Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah.
Another one that comes to mind is Boys to Men.
Mm-hmm.
These are big guys.
Yeah, my first big act for that job was it was the Bobby Brown tour, Humping Around tour.
That's
it was
pretty good. Man.
Bobby Brown, TLC, Mary J. Blige, and Shabba Ranks, and that was the 4. And so it was an amazing show.
That had to be a great experience.
Yeah, it was about a 30-40 city tour, and I had never moved around that much in my life, and it was that quickly and on a rock star's dime. I mean, it was great. It was a fun life, and so by doing 3 or 4 of those types of events, I ended up meeting Boys to Men. Because it was Bobby Brown, and then another one was Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yes.
And so the guys from Boys to Men would come out, because they're part of that,
that whole
indie
team
crew,
network.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
that Philly connection thing.
Right.
And so I ended up. They ended up hiring me as their fitness trainer.
That's great.
And so that's how I kind of got off on the rock star fitness trainer thing. And so
way to go.
Yeah, it was great. No, it was really a lot of fun.
One thing I tell you, myself, because my background is training celebrities also. What I found amazing is that many people think that when you train a celebrity that there's some magic bullet. but there really isn't. They want to work out and train to hit their fitness goals like everybody else, especially if they have like a film to do or a video shoot or a photo shoot.
Sure.
They want to be as tight
Yep.
and as rock hard and solid and as cut as possible.
Yeah. Motivation.
Yeah,
Motivation.
absolutely.
They have the motivation.
They have the motivation.
Yeah.
And that motivation, I think one of the few things, you have to do it yourself. Nobody can pay you. You have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to, they can pay you to say, well, you have to look this certain way. But then people will suffer through to get that look. But then when it's over, they will go right back to that place where they don't look as fit, don't look as healthy, and don't eat properly. But what I found is that most of them, the ones I've trained, they are dedicated to this as a lifestyle.
Right.
They really are.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Now, I want to talk about yourself.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So what was family like for you when you were growing up? Did you have brothers and sisters? Were any of them interested in the same things you are like today in fitness or writing?
No, I'm the youngest of three, the only boy. So I was
You're
that
the baby
kid.
boy.
I'm the baby boy.
Yeah.
I'm the baby boy. And there's a age gap. The oldest was 10 years older than I was, or than I am. And then the second one, she's 2 years older. Okay. And the oldest one is a school teacher. Second one is a lawyer. And then there's me. Right. And so,
what do they think of your successes like this?
They don't know where it actually came from.
Right.
But I really always loved to write as a kid, and I loved that practice of writing. And so in college, I just didn't know how can I make a living writing if it's only I don't want to write for a newspaper and I don't want to write for a magazine or anything like that. So. That's why I went into the fitness part of it.
Yes.
But I think if I had known more about what there is, and there's definitely more now for writing, more opportunities. And so, that's how kind of had I've always loved words and writing and that kind of. I was the nerd on tour that always had the dictionary.
Really?
Yeah.
Great.
I had the dictionary, and
great.
so I always loved learning new words, or if there was a word I didn't know or hadn't heard of before, I'd look it up and that type of a thing. So I always loved words, and I've always loved rhyming.
Right.
Just because I loved Dr. Seuss and Shel Silverstein, and it was such a craft to that.
Very
I
much
really
so.
loved it. Yeah.
Very much so. What about your parents? What do they think of your successes also?
Yeah, my mom, my dad passed away in '98, so before my writing career took off.
Yes.
But my mom, she loves it. She loves to hold. Every time I talk to her, God bless her, she's 82 years old now, and she loves to look at the book and hold the book. And how'd you do this? How'd you do this? She's still kind of amazed by it. But no, it's for me, it's been such a sense of pride, and
Absolutely.
I'm very proud of the work that Missy and I have done on the book.
Of course.
Yeah,
now I have a question. Is writing for you, for myself, I find writing to be very cathartic, a very healing kind of process. What is it for you when you're writing? What's going through your psyche as you're writing?
It depends on what actually I'm writing about. It all kind of stems from a source of something like this particular book. A friend of mine sent me a text and said, both my kids are sick. I walk into my daughter's room. She jumps up on her bed, points at me, and she says, "I'm not taking that medicine." And she says, "Alonzo, you have to write a book about that."
Right.
And so that kind of inspired, it's that inspiration, and that would just, because I knew her kids, I've met her kids before, and I knew exactly
how
the look. Yeah, no, I had it down in my
Right.
mind. I was like, oh man,
Right.
this is great. This
Right.
is so money.
Right.
So there's another one called Isle that was actually, it's about this, my girlfriend broke up with me.
Right.
And she had this really dynamic career working for a high-end shampoo company.
Yes.
And so, I was just amazed by what her days were like.
Right.
She goes, "Oh, we had to do this, and because we had to let him go, we had to shift this around." And she was traveling all over the place and all that kind of stuff. And I was just really amazed by her stories when she would come home. And so we broke up, and I thought she broke up with me because I wasn't because I had stopped traveling and all that kind of stuff, and I wanted to get back into that. And so I started writing down this list, and it was I'll do this. I'll travel. I'll do. I'll
I
do
will
this.
do this.
Yeah. I
Right.
for like 4 pages back and front, it was just I will.
Right.
I will.
Right.
And then I just started putting things together like in little stanzas, and it just kind of came out. So that was really inspired by her because she was just this really on the go thing, and I wanted to get back to doing that same thing as well. And so it was so that was my inspiration for that one. There's one called I Have So Many Toys I Don't Know What to Do. About this kid who has so many toys, and he ends up figuring out that, hey, I can give one away.
Exactly.
And so it just depends on what it is that kind of sparks that idea that really kind of beats in your heart.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, I got this now.
Absolutely.
I got it. So once you kind of lock in on what that inspiration is, it makes it a lot easier. But it's still a process.
It definitely is. I got to tell you, as you said, I have so many toys, I don't know what to do. It made me think of a good friend of mine. They have a rule in their home, and they have 4 kids, that if they get a toy, they have to give a toy away.
Yeah.
And for Christmas, what she does with them is they will all get 2 or 3 toys, but they must all give away 2 of them. So they get 3, they got to give 2 of them away.
That's
only
a nice
keep
little
1.
rule. That's a nice
exactly.
little rule.
And when I talked to her about it, I said, well, how do they choose? She said, I leave that to them, Levi.
Yeah.
She said, well, they know they're going to get 3. They can only keep 1. And then we're going to march down. We're going to give 2 away to other people.
Man,
I think it's so powerful because it reminds people that it's not simply about what you get.
Mm-hmm.
It really is about the power of giving that really shows the value and beauty of your humanity. It's not just take.
Yeah.
It's really better to give.
And the sooner they learn that, the sooner that becomes a practice,
Absolutely.
the better.
Absolutely, where they're not thinking, well, if I give that, what am I going to get? You want to really, I think, teach children to have a sense of unconditional giving.
Yeah.
Not one for one, not a quid pro quo. It's just like, I give because I want to give. I give because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the book also.
Oh, man.
Now, I love the illustrations of the book, but more importantly, what I really love, I wish you guys could see this. I was going to put this on for you all, but I thought it would hurt you all. This is a cape, and I love the cape because you give this cape to the kids.
Yes.
They can wear this cape, and this stands for Kid Seder, like a crusader, a Kid Seder. So let's talk about how you came with that idea of a cape for children. And I love the fact that it's snap-on with magnets. So if a child has some type of IV or line in their neck, it can snap around easily. It won't choke anyone. So how did you come up with this idea? It's very original and quite interesting to me.
Yeah, when I was working with the idea of the book and the character, before I met Missy J, I had another illustrator, and we were just kind of batting around some ideas, and he said, he drew me up something, and he drew this, illustration of this kid with a cape, and he says that he just seems like a kid like this seems to have a cape on. Right. And I really kind of like that idea.
Yes.
And so I came up with this in the beginning of all my books. There's this introduction statement that says, no one knows exactly how capes magically appear on the kids of Cape City, but it happens the moment they do feats of awesomeness.
Right.
These cape-wearing dynamos are called Cape Kidsaders.
I love it.
So whenever they do, in my book, whenever they do a feat of awesomeness, they magically get a cape.
Right.
And so that's kind of where that came from. And it was like, okay, we have to, I have to find a cape maker. I got to, get this designed and the whole thing. So it was, that in and of itself of finding, a cape maker. Where do you find those things?
Exactly. To pick the colors that you did. The colors are vivid and beautiful.
Yeah, we picked
and unisex.
Yes, I picked. Exactly. That was the one thing. It couldn't have been,
can't be pink.
Yeah, can't be pink, and it can't really be,
like
predominantly
or
blue or anything like
right.
that. And so yellow was happy.
Yes, it is.
Cheery.
Yes, it is.
That whole thing,
yes.
and it's both sexes can really kind of go for it, and so that's why, and especially in a hospital setting, it's like you need something that really kind of brings that spirit up and out, and so like a dark, even though I love Prince and I would have loved purple, that can get a little gloomy,
exactly.
but bright yellow was the one.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And what about Missy? How did you meet her? Because I got to tell you, everyone, you got to get this book, please. Again, That Medicine I Will Not Take by Alonzo Cannon, because the illustrations are just phenomenal. How did you meet the illustrator? Because she's really talented.
By chance,
No, by divine.
Yes, absolutely.
Divine, really. Trust me.
the illustrator that I had, he was freelancing at the time.
Yes.
And then he got a full-time job.
Yes.
Which cut into the amount of time he could freelance.
Right.
Then he got engaged.
Oh, it was
which
over.
took everything away.
That was it. That was it. That was it.
That was it.
Game on.
Yeah, it was like, I'm through. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
It's like, I have no more time.
Right. Or
And-
Janet would say, game off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was over.
It was done.
So I had to go. I went on this quest to find my next illustrator. So I paid him for the work that he had done for me.
Yes.
And so, not knowing much about illustration or things like that, I really loved what he did, and I thought, well, I'll just buy what he did, and then once I find the next illustrator, I'll see if they can continue that.
Right.
So about 8 months go by, and I'm looking, every
And
day.
what do you even look? You go to
Well,
where?
you can go online and you can put in illustrators.
Just search it.
Yeah, and then they'll send you their portfolios, and you see their work, or they may have websites, and you can go and you can see what kind of work that they do, and if it kind of has this resounding feeling for you. Right. And so,
because this is not just illustrations; these are children's illustrations.
Yeah,
This is
so
very
there's a
specific niche,
right, exactly, and it have to be playful, and that thing. It can't be like
it can't be dark and gloomy.
Right,
and,
exactly,
and depressing.
Yeah, you can look at someone's work and instantly if that's the person or not. You instantly know if that's what you're looking for.
Got it.
And so 6 or 8 months go by, and I go visit actually my friend who had the 2 kids that medicine I went up.
Yes.
She lived in Texas. And so another friend of mine that I graduated college with lived in the same town. So I looked her up on Facebook, or sent her a message on Facebook and said, hey, I'm coming to town. Would love to have a drink with you.
Right.
Whatever. So we do that. And she asked me, I hadn't seen her in 20 years. So I'm telling her about this thing, and I'm looking for an illustrator, and she goes, oh, well, you got to meet Missy J. And I was like, well, who's Missy J? She goes, that was my pledge sister. We all went to OU. Wow. But I'd never met Missy before.
Right.
And she goes, oh, no, you have to meet her.
Really?
And so I emailed Missy the stories, and she's like, Alonzo, I have to do this. Listen, I won't even charge you for the sample.
Wow.
Because when you find an illustrator that you want to see what they can do for you, you pay them $250, $500 to do a sample of
workup.
Yeah, just to get an idea.
Right.
And she goes, I won't even charge you for the sample. I just have to do this.
Wow, man.
And so she sent me something over that's totally knocked me out, and I was like, you're my girl.
Period.
You're the one. And
That's
so that's how I met. And actually, I've only met her once in person.
So everything is online.
Everything's online. Everything's texting. Everything's that whole thing. So I only met her once when we launched at the Children's Hospital at the University of Oklahoma last
amazing.
March. Yeah. So, but we keep in close contact.
course.
But I've only met her in person once.
Now, has she done a lot of other children's literature and books?
She's done some. Yeah, she does she's so talented. She does a lot of things.
And describe her.
Like,
what is she like? I want to get
she
a feel
is
of Missy J.
She's artful. She has like strands of pink hair. Sometimes her whole hair, her whole head of hair is pink.
Right.
She has like these funky little
Glasses?
Colored glasses,
Right.
and she's just a soulful
Is she very petite?
art. She's petite. She's
I have that picture in
short,
my head.
and she's just
Funny?
She is bubblegum
Right.
and princess
Really?
and wands, and
Really?
she's just magical.
Magic. Yeah, I got
man.
it.
She just
A little fairy godmother, basically.
she is
angelic.
awesome.
Wow.
Absolutely awesome.
Wow, I got that picture in my head for some reason.
No,
Yeah.
she will just keep you laughing.
Love it.
She just comes up with the wittiest things to say, and she's just,
Authentic.
Just
That's great.
she's
man.
awesome. I'm very, very fortunate.
That's just
very
great, man.
fortunate.
So when she said yes to you, what did that do for you in turn? That must have given you such a sense of relief that now you have the writing and you have the illustrator. Now it's just a matter of completing the work.
Right, and it's not a fast process because it takes a while. You kind of look at once you open the book or any book, you look at it and you think, well, they did that on the first take. It's like no,
it doesn't work that way.
No, she'll send me something and we'll discuss it, and she'll tell me why she did it this way and what she was feeling and that whole
She has
thing.
to have a feel of what you like too.
Oh,
Energetically,
absolutely.
you have to be like a match
Yeah.
to make a book like this work, because the book is so extraordinarily well done. You know, even if the writing is great and the illustrations are off, the book would be off.
Oh, absolutely. No,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. It's a, you know, it has to match up.
Has to match.
It has to match up.
Really fit.
And she has a little daughter named Ruby. I think Ruby's in the 2nd grade, and so she can bounce some really cool things off of Ruby. And
that's good.
But she just has, you know, in the best sense of what I'm getting ready to say, she just has the mind of a child. I mean,
great.
she is just so, you know, artful in the way she does things.
Really?
And even when she came up, if you look at the title, it's called hand illustrated text. So she draws my prose, and she'll take certain words and make them pieces of art, and makes it part of the art that she's already drawn.
Yes.
And so it's not just, you know, just typed up at the top of the page, but kids are, when you look at it, kids are drawn to what she's drawn with, like medicine, and then it becomes such a teaching to where's the M, where's the I, where's the E, you know, because it's not just, you know, just typed at the top of the page.
No.
It
pulls you in with the color and with the design.
Right. She's made it playful.
Right.
She's made
even
the
with medicine having the eyes dotted with
exactly
tablets, you know?
right. How
and it's great. And the knot here with the spoon of
yeah,
medicine.
no, that's all her. That is
no.
all Missy J. You know,
it's just
but
beautiful.
to tell you, no, I have to tell you this. What I send her a Word doc.
That's it.
That's all I send her, and she sends me back something like this.
You have to be blown away by this.
Oh,
you have
every
to
time. I don't get tired of it.
No,
I don't get used to it, because every
can't.
time she sends you something, you're just like, oh my gosh.
Because she's a real genius, a real artist.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So
she has a website too, I'm sure, right?
Gigglebox.
So please go to Missy J, and Missy is spelled Missi, last name Jay, and it's Gigglebox.
Gigglebox.com.
I love that. So please go to her website also, because the illustrations, I mean, if you're just looking through the book, just beautiful.
See the word strike, how that becomes part of the artwork, or hate, or so she's drawn it instead of just having, you know, it just typed out.
It's just beautiful.
It becomes part of the artwork.
It really is gorgeous. It really is. Well, I definitely wanted to have you read some of the book, maybe a minute or so of the book. I wanted to give the audience a chance to really have you as the author give them an experience of that.
Super.
I want to do that. But I also want to ask you too, you know, when you're writing like this, are you really internally aware of the impact this will have on society? Because it's a very powerful book.
You know, it's hard for me to look at it in that large of a scale until after you kind of step back away from it. While you're doing it, you're just kind of doing it. You're kind of feeling it, and you're just going with the vibe and the whole thing. And then once you step away from it, and you start ideas, when I finished that, and when I saw, even before I saw the finished illustrations, I was like, oh, hold on, this could have ramifications down the line.
Oh, very much.
It's like there's so many ways that this could help.
Right.
There's so many ways that this can be a tool.
Absolutely.
And so, but while I'm writing it, I'm not writing it thinking, oh, I'm going to write something that, you know, that's going to be useful to mankind. You know, I have.
You're right, because this is like this soulful manifestation.
You're trying to get it out of you.
Bring.
Yeah, you're just trying to get it out of you, and then once you get it out, it's like, oh. There are so many. This is like the Swiss knife of books. You know, it's educational, it's literacy, it helps, it's empowering,
very much
it's
so.
Inspirational, it helps healthcare workers, it helps parents, and you think of all these ways that, you know, of how this book could be of use. And so
on multiple platforms.
On multiple platforms, and it's timeless in the sense.
Oh, yes, evergreen.
Yeah.
How many kids are saying, "Mommy, Daddy, I don't want that"? I can hear myself saying,
"Oh yeah,"
and I can hear my mother saying, "That's not my problem."
Yeah.
You know, I can hear. You know, I'll tell you, as I was looking at the title, I was thinking to myself, I remember once you should maybe write a book entitled "Mommy, I Will Not Eat This." I'll never forget. Once I was telling my mother, she was this big old bowl of Brussels sprouts on the table, and she said, "Okay, you can start eating those now." And I remember shaking my head, no, I'm not going to eat it. And my mother, she said, oh, well, Levi, I'll tell you this. You don't have to like them, son. I understand. But you do have to eat them.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I had to power through them, you know, and eat them before.
Yeah.
I've always thought that children should not be forced to eat what they really don't like. Even if the parents think it's good for them, I think children should have a choice. Because I think when you break them at a young age like that, you break their choices, you break them down. And if they're not strong enough to recover, I think they're always in that state of wanting to please other people and do what other people state versus do what they want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And that's actually, that kind of goes a little bit with the book in the sense of there aren't any adults or medical practitioners or anything like that in the book. It is just Preston. And he gets to...
describe his personality.
He gets to vent. Preston, he is this smart kid.
Like me.
Yeah, like you. Yeah. And
nerdy, like me.
Yeah. Yeah. He has, he wants to negotiate, and a lot of kids want to do that. They want to negotiate. But Mom, what if I did this? Or Dad, what if I did this? What if I? And that's kind of what he's doing throughout the whole book. But there's in the book there aren't any adults saying you need to take this because you need to do this because. So he gets to tell his mother all the things he would rather do than take his medicine. But then there comes to the part in the story where he sees what he could be doing if he felt better, and he changes his own mind. And so he does that on his own accord. Right. Exactly. He sees what he could be doing. Okay, I'll take the medicine now because I want to be doing that. That type of a thing. So he's empowered to make his own, to change his mind. But he's also, kids identify with who he is because, he does that negotiating thing where, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that, but I won't do this.
Period.
But he sees what he could be doing. Oh, okay, now I'll do that. That type of a thing. So that's why I really love the book. And actually, I get a lot of feedback from healthcare professionals, and they love the book because it's so general. We're just talking about medicine. We're not talking about specific things like cancer or diabetes. Just in general. So it covers everything from cough syrup to chemotherapy. It's that whole thing. So
that's a big, wide range, too.
That's a huge range. And so that's why, I think it's kind of gone over so well is because it's so general.
Absolutely.
And that if it's anything that if a kid has to take, whether it's intravenously or orally or whatever.
Yes.
Medicine's medicine.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So
I got to tell you, when you said no negotiating, it made me think of something as a kid. I remember. Do you remember this stuff called castor oil?
Oh, absolutely.
I hated it.
Oh man.
Well, it would issues. Sometimes I have these gastric issues. My mother would say, you got to take some castor oil. And she get this big cooking spoon and stuff.
I remember it.
And I'd be looking at. I can remember. And I know if my mother's looking today, most likely she is. I can remember my mother saying, holding up the spoon and saying, "Okay, Levi, open. Just take 2 of these." And I can remember doing this, and then my mother spanking me. She said, "You gonna drink this?" And I would do this. And she said, "Did you hear what I said? Are you gonna drink this or not?" And I said,
"Yep."
She was like, "Yes, yes, no, no, I'm not." And I can hear her as clear as day saying, "Look, little Mr. Negotiator, open your mouth."
Yeah.
And of course, I'd have to take it, but I hated it.
Oh, man.
I absolutely.
It was rough.
That was rough.
It was.
Do they still make that today? Do you know? I bet they don't.
I don't know. I hadn't heard of it in such a long time. Yeah.
It was. If anyone's listening, it was horrible.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I was taking it, but I know she thought it was good for my stomach and good for my throat. But it was horrible.
Yeah.
Man.
No, I can still smell it.
So you remember exactly?
Yeah.
A real funny, strong smell.
Yeah. Very medicinal.
Very medicinal. So. This castor oil, I will not take, Mommy.
Yeah.
So read some of the book to us.
Okay.
I want, please. So this is the author of That Medicine I Will Not Take, and we're going to hear Mr. Alonzo Cannon reading.
Okay. I can do it by heart, but I'm just going to open it up just in case.
Sure. Which page are you on?
I'm going to go for the first page, the first couple of pages.
Great.
There once was a little boy whose first name was Preston. He was feeling mighty sick in his very small intestine. It was the very first day of school's winter's break, and little Preston woke up with a horrible tummy ache. He had a sore throat and was feeling some congestion. He even had a touch of stomach indigestion. He was sick indeed. He was sick without question. On his face he wore a really sad expression. His head was clanging and his neck was stiff. His nose was so clogged that he couldn't even sniff. His fever rose as the temperature fell. He'd feel a little better if the kid could only smell. Achy all over, he moaned and he groaned. His midwinter's fun was officially postponed. Feeling queasy and wheezy with a sharp pain in his chin, the worst part of his day was just about to begin. It was then his mom, with a twinkle and a grin, came into his room with a cup of medicine. He sprung out of bed, wide-eyed and wide awake, and shouted, "That medicine I will not take.
I love that.
I'll kiss my sister, I'll sweep the garage, I'll give your feet a sweetest massage. It's both my arms I'd rather break, but that medicine there I will not take. Building a snowman I will forego, because I hate that medicine, I hate it so. I won't ride my bike, because I'm going on strike. I'm giving up all the things that I could possibly like. I won't go out to sled, I'm giving up bread. I'll stop eating cheese. I'm down on my knees, I'm begging you, begging you, begging you, please. Anything fun I will not partake, because that medicine, that medicine I will not take."
Dude, I love it, man. I love it. I just love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I got to tell you, as you were reading, there was one part I was thinking, it was here when you said, it was then his mom with the twinkle and the grin came into his room with a cup of, I wanted to say with a cup of gin.
That's probably what she took after she finally got him to take the medicine.
Exactly. Dude,
Yeah.
it is so fantastic. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And thanks for the expository. It's fantastic.
Yeah, part of one of these things that I want to do, it's called this video reading initiative.
Yes.
And so what I would really love to do is to get celebrities, athletes, whatever, who want to participate. So say we get Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
And we get Justin
Oh,
Timberlake.
like Lawrence Fishburne.
Or Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah.
Right.
Just stand in front of a camera, in front of a green screen.
Right.
Read the book off of a teleprompter, so they're not holding the book and turning pages.
Exactly.
And so
having the book come up behind them.
right, exactly. So in
Images, you know?
post-production, we project the images of the book onto the green screen.
Exactly.
And now we just got Justin going, he sprung out of bed wide-eyed and wide awake and shouted, "That medicine I will," or The Rock,
Oh, yeah,
or
exactly,
The Rock, or
exactly.
Or
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Can you
Absolutely.
imagine
They
her?
could spit that out and
easily.
so then we
Or
would.
Beyonce.
Yes.
She could do that.
Yeah.
man.
Jay.
Yeah, very much so. Jay-Z.
Oh,
very
Jay-Z
much
could
so,
do
man.
it. So then
or
we
even Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
I would love hearing her sing.
Well,
She's great.
we would take all those videos and put them on our YouTube channel.
Right.
And kids in any hospital,
yeah.
anywhere, can go to this YouTube channel and watch their favorite athlete or entertainer or singer read them this book,
That would be great,
and
man.
so it would be so phenomenal.
Because imagine you had like literally a whole cast of characters to read that. They could literally just go to the one that they want to hear read it and go to that person in that language also.
Sure, yeah.
Imagine someone like Selma Hayek reading it in Spanish,
Right,
you know?
no.
Or someone from Brazil reading it like a soccer guy. I mean, it's unlimited.
Oh no, that's
It's
the thing.
unlimited.
It's just unlimited what you could do with that. Or if you got, and then, after you say you got 20, 30, 50 different videos, and then you can edit them differently where you take
Absolutely.
one part of one person's video and you
merge it with
someone else's, so you could
Exactly.
have like
Yeah,
multiple people
saying, exactly.
and taking like little different
Right,
lines. So I'm working really hard to put that together, but
Dude,
that's one of the things.
I think it'd be just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it would provide inspiration and entertainment for
And
kids
education.
And
Yeah.
so
You know,
I'm
one
really
thing comes to my
excited about
mind that I think you should consider doing also, that someone should do the book, but also do it in sign language.
that. Yeah. Oh,
Because if
absolutely.
you have somebody signing, what about
Sure.
the kids who can't hear, who
Yeah.
don't have access to even the book?
Yeah.
Or if they have someone on screen signing the book to them, imagine how amazing that would be.
That would be
That would capture a
phenomenal.
whole new audience of people that don't have access to the book now.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal. So,
So-
there's so many things. That's why I call it the Swiss knife blade
Right,
of books.
exactly.
There's so many things you can do with this book, and so many things you can do with this project. But yeah, so what that's kind of one of the things
I
that
think
we
is
have.
great. I think it's great. So how many books now in the series your goal is to produce 5 more, 10 more?
Well, yeah, when I first started, I wasn't, I hadn't published anything before.
Right.
No one knows who I am. I'm not famous. I don't have 1 million followers on Twitter or anything like that. So yet it's coming.
Right.
With your help,
Of course.
and so I knew that when I approached agents and publishers, I would have to show them,
You guys should
a lot of things.
Oh, very
a
much
lot
so.
of things, not just one, not just two, but I need to show them a series.
Right.
And so before I even went out to look for agents and publishers, I had about 20 already
Yes.
written, and there were probably about 12 to 15 that I was really solid with. And so I wanted to do that also because I didn't want to have the pressure of having to come up with the next one. So they're already written, they're ready to go. And so
and I think it's great too that you're self-publishing, because the power of self-publishing is all intellectual property rights you own. It's
right, you know, and that came from this gentleman by the name of Eric Logan. Yes. He's the president of the Oprah Winfrey Network, and I had a chance encounter with him, and we both happened to be from Oklahoma. Right. What was what kind of got us to talking, and he introduced himself, and he was like, "Here's my card. You know, send me what you got." And so I did, and he emailed me back the same day. He says, "I really like this. You know, let's meet for lunch." And so when we met, I said, well, once I get an agent, once I get a publisher, this really cool promotion would be if we were to give away this book and the superhero capes that go along with it to a children's hospital.
Right.
And so he says, "Listen, I really like what you got going here. I love this book. I love this promotion." He says, "My advice to you is this." And for many reasons that he told me, he says, "You need to self-publish this. And secondly, this promotion idea that you have, why don't you consider turning that into a nonprofit organization where you give away that book and the superhero capes to it that go with it, and you partner with children's hospitals, and then you get corporations and donations to fund the foundation, to fund the foundation to give more books and more capes." And that's what I ended up doing.
I think it's great.
And so that's how this whole thing kind of came up. And so I have not been this excited. And I've been working on my first book my first story was written in 2007, and now it's 2017, and I have not stopped. This is my passion.
This is fantastic.
And I know that it's going to work. And I just
it's working.
It is working. It is working. We're just going to shift into a higher gear.
Exactly right.
And so I am just dogged determined that this, I'm going to see this through because I just feel it. I know that it has meaning and it has a purpose.
Right.
And
what's the name of the foundation?
Cape Kidsaders Children's Hospital Foundation.
Can you spell that so someone can reach out to you?
That's CAPED KIDSADERS Children's Hospital Foundation.
Now, what about this? How can people reach you on social media?
They can go to my Facebook page. They can go to the Cape Kidsader. You can go to my Facebook page. You can go to, that's Alonzo Cannon, ALONZO. CANNON. You can also go to the foundation's website, which is capekidsadersfoundation.org. And you can also find the foundation on Facebook as well.
Fantastic. What about Instagram? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Twitter?
Yes, I'm on Instagram. My Twitter, I'm still working on Twittering.
Instagram, you're on that.
Instagram, you can look me up, Alonzo Cannon. You can find me there. So, and then of course there's Missy J at gigglebox.com.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, what about your schedule? Is it open to do speaking engagements? Do you have time to do that?
I go to schools and I read the book. So I get contacted by schools that want to buy a certain number of books, and if they do, I'll come and do a reading and signing of the book. And so that's always a lot of fun. So I do this thing with the kids. Is first I'll walk in and it's like, I've been talking to your teacher, and he tells me that you guys are really good listeners. So I'm going to read this once, and then I'm going to read it a second time, and you have to fill in the missing word. And so they're all excited. They're all excited.
Listening.
So they're listening. No, they're intent. They're there with me, right?
Right.
And so I'll read it the first time, and then I'll start the second time, and I'll say, "There once was a little boy whose first name was Preston."
Really? Just like that?
He was feeling mighty sick and his very small intestine. I mean, they just go crazy with it. Man. It's so much fun. Yeah, it's really a lot of fun. And so they'll say, "Can we do it again? Can we do it again?" Right. So we'll do it again.
Really?
Well, yeah. Oh my
That's
gosh,
great,
they eat it up. Yeah, it's really a lot of fun.
Well, what about, do you have any connection with St. Jude's Hospital? Because that's another great one.
I would love to get in touch with St. Jude's. St. Jude's is a great one. We've been contacted by
Children's Hospital Los Angeles.
CHLA wants to do it. Dell's Children's.
What about Children's Hospital Orange County?
We would love that, and that's why. See, the issue has not been a lack of interest.
Right.
We have a lot of hospitals who want to do this, but we don't have the funds to fund them all annually.
Right.
And so we are looking for a corporate sponsor to.
Because many of them have their own foundations.
Oh,
where
absolutely.
You were just able to piggyback on one of them, then you'd be fine.
You think about Mattel. You think
absolutely.
about
the Gates Foundation also.
Oh, yeah, those are really great.
There's a lot.
There are so many out there. I think the biggest challenge that I've had was getting in front of them. Who do I send it to? How do I get it in front of them? It's really the thing sells itself.
Oh, the book is amazing.
It sells itself, so it's not even like a hard.
It's not a hard sell.
No, it's a hard.
And I want to remind people: please go and invest in this. Invest in your children. Invest in yourself. It's a great read. Again, That Medicine I Will Not Take by Mr. Alonzo Cannon. I want to thank you, Alonzo, for being with us today.
Thank you so
much. You have
much.
his contact information. You're just phenomenal.
And I also want to tell you that 100% of the proceeds from the sale of the book go back to the foundation.
It's fantastic. So you heard it from this guy. He's giving, giving, giving. I want to remind everyone, Twitch TV this Sunday, June 4th, at 10 p.m., correct? Excuse me, at 12 p.m. This Sunday at 12 p.m. Twitch TV. So join me, gamers. Get ready to get your questions answered. It's going to be a great Sunday. We're switching not this Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but this Sunday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. All right, I'll see you guys then. I want to thank Alonzo Cannon. Phenomenal book. Please go and get it. Contact him. Consider giving to his foundation. They're just doing phenomenal work. This is Dr. Levi Harrison with the Dr. Levi Show, reminding you to be kind to each other and especially be kind to the veterans. Those men and women deserve our utmost respect and love. This is Dr. Levi. See you next week. Go out and be kind. Bye.